Today I fucked up by telling my wife to stop repeating herself. My wife does not like her job. At all. She reminds me of this seemingly every day for the past several months. She and I both have pretty decent salaries and we've been saving up pretty well, so it looks like we'll be able to retire in about 5 years for her and maybe another year or two after that for me. It seems like every day she'll say something along the lines of, 5 more years, as part of a conversation about a shitty upcoming meeting, or a frustrating project she's currently working on. Occasionally we'll discuss what we might do after we retire, and she'll say, 5 more years. She'll ask me if I'm okay working just a year or two longer than her, and of course I'll say yes, and she'll say, okay, so I only need to work 5 more years. To me it felt like I was having the same conversation, over and over and over again. I would say, we have a plan. We have a goal, we're on target to meet it, over and over, same conversation. Always ending with, 5 more years. Repetitive conversations frustrate me. I find myself thinking, didn't we already discuss this? Did something in the plan change? Why are we revisiting these details? So this morning I said to her, you don't need to tell me 5 more years every day. Well, apparently this was absolutely the wrong thing to say, especially today. See, today is the weekly shitty meeting that is the focal point of much of her frustration with her job. Today is the day of the week where she has to present the current status on her projects. And ever since her company got a new CEO, these meetings have gone very poorly. My wife's projects require a good deal of technical expertise, as well as feedback from the customer for certain data points. Both of these requirements can be a problem when it comes to this weekly meeting. Regarding the technical expertise, she gets frustrated by trying to summarize things plainly enough to satisfy leadership. I've seen her reports and I don't think they can be dumbed down any more than she's already doing without losing important information, and yet the CEO keeps asking her to simplify things more for him. And then for projects waiting on customer feedback, the following exchange will often happen. We're waiting on critical information from the customer to move forward. So what can we do in the meantime? Without this information we have no way of moving forward. Have you tried test that does not produce the needed information? That wouldn't get us the information we need. Run test that does not produce the needed information, and see if that locates the issue. Following week, the test did not reveal the issue and we are waiting for the customer to respond with the needed information that only the customer can provide. Nonsense, run, different useless test that will waste her time. Internal screams of frustration. This repeats every week, ad nauseum, leading to another conversation of, just 5 more years. The problem here is that I misunderstood what 5 more years means to her. When she says it to me, it often comes with details of what we'll do, or how much we need to save or some other detail, and I felt that it was adding more stress on top of her work. But I was wrong. For her it was stress relief. It was a mantra, an affirmation that all the bullshit she is putting up with at work will eventually end. It was a light at the end of the tunnel. And I've darkened that light by saying I don't want to hear about it every day. For me, the repetition was making those 5 years look longer and longer, but for her, each repetition is confirmation that there is an end to the frustration. So now I need to think of a way to make it up to her, and to remember that I really can listen to all her problems, no matter how many times I've heard them before, and regardless of whether I'm able to help. Too long did not read. My wife got mad at me for saying she didn't need to tell me every day about how much she hates her job. I didn't realize it's her way of relieving stress. Would you like my opinion, or do you just need to vent? I'd recommend doing something to show you now understand, like 5 years worth of tearaway calendars to help her counting down, or planning something special like a night out, vacation for when 5 more years becomes 4 more years. You need to let her vent that pressure. I worked at a very frustrating job for 3 years and not venting about it significantly worsened my mood personally. I see that her job is specialized. It's either you move to another state for another job as you mentioned, or let her vent. It's very much a pick your poison. 5 years is too long if she is that messed up over it. It might kill her, make her sick. Life isn't guaranteed. She needs to find a different job. 5 years isn't something you say to grit your teeth and bear it. 5 years isn't what you say to motivate yourself to get out of there because 5 years is a long time. You aren't wrong to be getting burned out. It is normal and reasonable for there to be some reasonable limits on being a therapist in a relationship as long as you are there to help them meaningfully overall. A lot of people feel better after a good vent session or when they complain to their partner, and the partner does have a responsibility to take that, in moderation. But you aren't wrong to gently ask for moderation if it's incessant. 5 more years of hell will ruin her health, both mentally and physically. It's time she moved on, or set the CEO straight. Or both. 5 years is not a small amount of time. Why not quit? How much of this stress reaction being created internally versus externally? We are never too old to learn proper stress management techniques and to learn when the juice isn't worth the squeeze. I feel like when a story like this is presented online, it's always with a clear bias in mind. There's always a path forward, but it depends if you want to walk it or just complain. There's probably some other piece to this that should be owned by your wife, but that is not really in scope of this post. Sometimes we need to vent and other times we need to stop attacking the symptoms and address the disease. Edit. I just read in another comment op is in his 30s along with his wife. Yeah, this is a non-issue.